What happens when you finally step into who you truly are? Find out on this episode of the Radiate Wellness Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Radiate Wellness Podcast with your host, metaphysician, Reiki master, and hypnotherapist, Christi Hoffman. Each week, we will discover teachings, tips, and tools to radiate your best life ever with practitioners, authors, and luminaries to help you on your path. Wellness, joy, peace, abundance. What do you want to radiate?
Hello and welcome back to the Radiate Wellness Podcast, where today we radiate transformation with my dear friend Chris, otherwise known as Waking Up Christopher. But before we get too much further, I have a few asks of you. First of all, wherever you're listening right now, because I know you are listening, if you would please share this show, share this episode with people who you think would enjoy it. Who do you know who enjoys positive, uplifting, fun content? Please share it with them. Also, if you would please, wherever you're listening now, give this episode a thumbs up, a like, subscribe, or follow to the show. That really helps to boost us in the algorithms and help other people find this content. Also, if you are feeling particularly generous, maybe write us a little review, just 1 line, 2 lines, doesn't take very much. You can just say something simple like, "That Christi is wonderful. What a great host. What a fantastic array of guests that she gets on the Radiate Wellness Podcast." We would really appreciate it. Also, if you are in a position to, please send us a little bit of monetary love, buy me a coffee. There's a link in the show notes to make a donation to the Radiate Wellness Podcast. I am dedicated to making this podcast free for you to listen to. We do have top-notch guests from a variety of walks of life and studies. So you'll definitely learn something through this podcast. And it's free for you to listen, but it's not free for me to produce. There are costs that come out of my pocket. So if you could, if you're in a position to, please send a little monetary love our way. That is greatly appreciated. Now, in this episode, we speak with Waking Up Christopher. Based in Kansas City, Missouri, Christopher is an innovative artist, songwriter, and AI music producer hailing from Clifton, New Jersey. His unique fusion of emo, country, pop, and healing house reflects themes of resilience and overcoming adversity, exemplified by his viral hit, "Let 'Em." If you haven't heard it yet, you're missing out. Waking Up Christopher's unique selling point in the music industry is his groundbreaking approach that not only redefines what it means to be a pop star, but also beautifully weaves the heart of humanity into the realm of artificial intelligence. While conventional pop icons often rely on carefully curated images and personas, Christopher flips this narrative by stepping into the spotlight as both a captivating entertainer and a deeply committed songwriter. For years, songwriters have worked behind the scenes, crafting the catchy hits that pop stars perform. But Christopher takes ownership of both the storytelling and the delivery of his music. With a rich history spanning 3 decades and an ability to transcend multiple genres, he creates an authentic and compelling sound that resonates with listeners on a profound level. What truly sets Christopher apart is his innovative use of AI in the creative process. He doesn't simply use technology for efficiency. He infuses it with genuine emotion and humanity. By merging the analytical capabilities of AI with the rich emotional depth of his songwriting, Christopher creates a unique blend that captures the essence of human experience while exploring new sonic landscapes. In this way, he brings the heart to AI, proving that the most profound connections in music come from the synergy of creativity and technology. Christopher invites audiences to engage with music that is not just a product of algorithms, but a heartfelt expression that reflects both the soulful artist and the potential of modern innovation. Together, they form a powerful narrative that challenges the status quo and resonates deeply within today's rapidly evolving music landscape. I think you're going to enjoy this episode. Thanks for listening. Welcome back, friends. Today we radiate transformation with my dear friend, Chris Thompson. Hello, Chris.
Hi, friend. How are you?
I'm swell. Oh my God, you're a fellow Kansas City boy.
I am.
But I'm a fellow Kansas City. And anyway,
Yeah.
how long have we known each other?
It'll be 2 years this January, I think. I know. It seems longer, but yeah, it's only 2 years.
It's only 2 years. I have seen you go through changes in those.
I know.
I mean, it all started, you had a QHHT session with me.
Yeah, it was just like so random because maybe like the October before I started reading some Dolores Cannon books, and then it just like resonated with me. She talks a lot about like awakening stuff, and I just had chills in my body. Like she would talk about people feeling like they don't belong here, and that's when I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I was like, that's kind of the feeling I've had my entire life.
Right? I know. We're just like all this random tribe of misfits. I feel like
Yeah.
we're all coming together over the
Totally.
past few years, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, and I remember in your QHHT session, it was very emotional because you found yourself part of a whole, a connected whole.
Yes, yes. It took us a while to even find a place for me. And I remember, I think it started off, I was just observing reality for
Yeah.
other people. And it was like I was a presence that was waiting for other people's, there was like a death scene where people were on a Viking ship or something. And you were like, well, where are you? And I was just like, well, I'm just here. And you're like, are you in the scene? And I'm like, no, I'm just watching it.
Yeah, I
You
had
know,
an
just
observer the other day.
yeah.
We explore lifetimes as observers
Mhm.
to kind of get up to speed, learn what it is to be on Earth, learn about history and collective consciousness, all kinds.
Sure.
But I seem to remember you also being part of a large field of grass.
Yeah, that blew my mind. And, you know, I don't remember a lot when I was under it. When you always encourage people to listen to their QHHTs over and over. And I just found it so like that part just so fascinating was the grass part, you know?
Right.
And it was just like some random person's backyard. And you're like, well, are you just that piece of grass? I'm like, no, I'm just like the whole grass. It's like the whole field. I can like move around where I want to, you know, my consciousness within the field of grass that I'm in.
Crazy. But I mean, in a way, it seems to be kind of a metaphor for what you're going through now, being part of everything all at once. I mean, you've been
Mhm.
doing some rapid growth and, you know, we're radiating transformation. You have
Yes.
radical transformation. Okay. So now, fast forward, when we first met a couple of years ago, I know you were interested in creating art. You were
Yes.
interested in creating music, and you were doing that. You've been
Mhm.
interested in a few things. You actually became a death doula.
I did, and it was part of just like, the whole healing process. You know, I had this terrible fear of death from losing my parents so young, and you know, and I don't want to say it was so young. I mean, but 7 or 25. No, it was 25 when my dad died, or 27, and like 31 or 32 when my mom died. You know, and at that age, you're not completely stable, and you kind of like to have that parent figure around if you like you fall into a bind and you can rely on them. And there was none of that, and I guess that was like this fear of death was like, oh, well, I'm going to die pretty young too, because I probably have their genes. And so my entire life was just fear of death,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So that was like a way for me to just kind of overcome it by being there and present for someone like I couldn't be for my parents because I was in school at the time that my dad passed away, and I was working like overnights when my mom passed away. So I was sleeping most of the day. So I didn't get to spend much time with them when they were passing. And this was kind of my way of reconciling that guilt that I had for that, but also reconciling my fear of this isn't so bad after all. This is just a transformation in itself.
Right. I know that you went through this training program, that you've been doing some kind of practicums and working with people. I hadn't heard that part of the story.
Oh, yeah. And
Sense.
it was just a necessary part. Like if I hadn't done that, I don't think I would be where I'm at emotionally today, because I think I would still be holding on to that weight, that guilt, you know? And it was just freeing. You know what I also did? I watched a whole bunch of NDE shows.
Oh my, I cannot get enough of near
Me
death
either.
experiences.
You know what? I'm going to believe somebody who's been there and back.
Right.
That's, you know,
Or some preacher in a pulpit every Sunday morning.
precisely like this person's been there. I'm going to take their account because I've had lucid dreams. I remember them to a T, and they were pretty magical. And I'm like, well, you know what? I know what you're saying because I've had some similar experiences. Not exactly that, but close enough.
Right. And I mean, talk about transformation when we see what is possible and we see where we're going and we see who we truly are and what everything truly is. There's that level of transformation. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of transformation, I remember last summer we met for coffee.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted to talk about this book that you were, because you started taking an art class and
Yeah.
design, and you had a children's book
Mm-hmm.
you were working on. Very good stuff. Your artwork is really, really good. I
Thank
love
you. I appreciate that.
so much fun. But that's not what ended up coming together for you.
No, but here's the thing, and I'm just like putting this all together. I didn't have a platform. Remember when we were talking, you were like, a lot of times publishers want to see,
right.
the agents and the publishers, they all want to see that you have a following and a way to promote your book. And I just got that.
Really?
I just got it. I just got the platform that I can use to now angle myself towards getting a book.
Right. Yes. I thought you meant that you just got that.
No. I mean, that's going to happen. Right now, there's possibilities are endless. It's the portal year. We're still in the first 11 days of the portal. I mean, everything is possible. I don't live in a place of lack and doubt and fear anymore.
No.
And this just completely opened that door for me.
Wait a minute. We're getting ahead of ourselves, my friend.
Okay.
Because our audience does not know what has happened to you. So you had been working on developing your drawing, your illustration skills.
Oh, yeah.
Working on making a children's book, really cute little alphabet book for children.
Yes.
And then you'd always been writing in the background.
Yes.
You'd always been noodling with song ideas,
Mm-hmm.
thoughts about that. And all of a sudden, one morning I'm waking up, getting my coffee, and I get a text from you. Here's this song I made on an app.
I know.
AI. It's like your words to this song, and it sounded so professional and so beautiful. And I could tell that the lyrics were heartfelt. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And like maybe another week goes by and I get another song from you. And then another and another and another. And then you're on TikTok and you're on Instagram and you're on all these social media platforms.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, this music that you had not even really been focusing on, you were focusing on.
No. And
all of a sudden, you
about it. I was
blowing up.
That's what the most mind-blowing thing about it is. I had given it up. And I just got chills thinking about it because, they always say like the key to manifestation is giving up control of the idea of how something is going to happen for you.
Yeah.
And, like I always had this plan that I was going to write songs when I was younger and I was going to get famous for writing my music and whatnot. And years go on and you don't sell a song. And I've written for other artists songs that didn't get picked up. And I got very tired of the industry. I didn't like the music industry. The opportunities that I had, it just didn't vibe with me. And I'm not a very suck-uppy kind of person. And I don't like to chase, opportunities. So I didn't like it. It didn't work out for me. And by this point, I'm 48 and I had just given up completely on the idea that music was ever going to be a thing. It's just going to be my hobby. And I lost the ability to sing really because I had vocal cord damage. I had what's called silent GERD. And I didn't know that. I wasn't having symptoms that I had GERD, but while I had it because I didn't know I had it, it was just tearing up my vocal cords. And so when I went to the doctor finally, he's like, this is bad. He's like, I haven't even seen something this bad. And he's like, no more singing for you. I shouldn't even be talking for long periods of time. So even when I do things like this, I do my hour and then I try not to talk for a while afterwards. So couldn't do that. And I couldn't play guitar anymore because I have carpal tunnel in both hands. And it's like trying to hold those frets down anymore. Like I just can't do it. So my brother sent me this app called Suno to make AI music. I was like, oh, that's so stupid. I was like, that's the worst thing for artists because I'm an artist myself, a physical artist with drawing and making music. So I was like, that's terrible. AI is going to take this over. And I just totally threw it in the garbage. And I was like, I'm never using this. And I don't know why. One day I was just at home and I tried it. And I used to write emo songs. And so I took one of my emo songs and I ran it through and I was like, okay, and it wasn't great because it was one of the first generations of this app. And it was not very good. It was good enough to like, oh, that's kind of neat what it can do. It's like a party trick. but
Right.
it wasn't something that I would have released. And then within like 6 months, they did several updates of this app, and the vocals got really good. And then when it first came out, the music in the background was very tinny. The production was really bad. And I was like, you would never want to release it because it had too many shimmer effects. And it almost felt like the timing was just weird. The vocals were very robotic, you know?
Yeah.
And then I would say by May, June, July, the new generations were like, oh, these vocals are getting really good. And oh, this production doesn't sound so tinny. And I was like, maybe I can actually do something with this now. I'm not a trained producer, but I have a trained ear for what a song should sound like, because I've been writing music for so long. And I can't do levels. When I try to do my own production at home, my levels are off because I'm also partially deaf in my ear from playing music for so long. So whenever I would do my own productions at home, my levels were always off. It sounded good in my headset, and I go in my car to play it, and I'm like, this is trash.
Oh.
You know, that's always my level of whether it's a good song or not. Does it sound good in the car? You know?
Right.
And these songs, like the minute I took them into the car, they sounded good. And I was like, you could put this,
Good. Yeah.
yeah, you could put this out and it'd be good. And so I just kind of stuck with it. And I started sending you songs. I'd send my brother songs who sent me the app, and we would just go back and forth. We're like, yo, how long did we work on? Because my brother used to produce for me when I did my dance tracks for the girl pop songs. He would do my dance tracks. And so he's like, I would work on your beat forever. He's like, and I could not get it this good.
Wow. You know what? Your music actually reminds me of Tony Jones, who's also
I don't
on
know.
a podcast. She does
Oh.
what she calls affirmation music.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty much what I do.
Yeah, exactly. So the music that you write, I mean, it's to the words that you've written, and you've sent me your poems in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And very lovely, heartfelt poems about awakening, poems about stepping into your power, poems about transformation, about manifestation, about stardust and who we really are, things. And then you put it to music.
And I put it to music.
I'm thinking that, you have the creative drive to write and sing for so many years and to create art. And that once you dedicated yourself to creating artwork and taking the classes and writing the children's book, it made me wonder if that momentum and that creative energy then set the stage.
Oh, most definitely. I feel like the universe doesn't work on and you have to have an intention, right, of things that you want to do. But I think I said it earlier was that you can't have a rigid plan as to how that manifestation is going to happen for you.
Yeah.
And in the song, I Am That I Am, it's like, I talk about how I give up any idea of how this is going to happen.
Mhm.
And I feel like the entire album was a manifestation for all of this. Like it was me letting go of how it was going to happen, what it was going to turn into, opportunities that was going to lead to. I mean, just from releasing that, I met 2 people on TikTok. We're working on a podcast. We have our whole business plan set up already. We're doing lives on TikTok. We just had somebody on our live last night. He said, hey, I found you guys and I've been watching you guys. He's like, and I think the reason why I was sent here is because I'm supposed to help you with the podcast.
Oh, how cool.
So isn't that cool? Like all these synchronicities are just kind of happening.
And what is your podcast going to be called?
It's going to be called Echoes of Soul. And it's going to be mostly about like the spiritual stuff that we talk about. And it's going to be about the remembering of who we are.
Yeah.
And people waking up and coming to this, oh, I know what I did. I decided to come down here. I made this choice. I chose these obstacles in my life that I needed to overcome. And I made these deals with these other souls that you're playing the villain this time and I'm playing the good guy. And it's coming to that aha moment that I don't have to blame anybody for the way my life turned out anymore because I picked the main plot lines. And the only thing I have any sort of like control over is the choices that I make and how I respond to them.
Right. Well, and your social media, your Facebook and your Instagram were called Waking Up Christopher before you started doing any of this. And so now it's like everybody's waking up. And it feels like activation.
Oh, it's
quite honestly, like for the whole world activation.
Yeah.
We were talking before we started recording about how divisive everything has become in the world and especially in our country, in the United States. And so divisive. And it does feel like something is being activated right now. So,
Yeah, it's really at this turning point where I think people are just fed up. They're
yeah,
fed up with materialism. They're fed up with the divide in poverty levels. There's no middle class anymore. It's really hard just to make it by. And there's this fear of AI coming in and taking jobs and increasing the poverty level. I rationalize that AI is not going to do that. AI is not going to destroy that. And I say this because AI comes in, right, takes all these jobs away, right? They're saying there's like people that are predicting on YouTube that like 95% of jobs will be eradicated by the use of AI by the next 15 years. And I'm like, well, that's kind of impossible because say they eradicate 95% of the jobs, right? Who is paying for the products, right, that are going to keep funding AI if people don't have money? Who's paying for it?
well,
And
but
then who
where
is
are they
AI?
going to be getting that money? Where are they
And
going to
who?
be finding
But yeah,
jobs to?
and who is AI serving at that point? Nobody, because nobody can afford to use the technology. So are just wealthy people going to be using it and we're just going to be sitting here like in the slums? Who is it serving? So I think anything that comes in, something else will come in to replace. We'll find different ways to work. We'll have more time on our hands to do the things that we love, artistic pursuits and things like that. And I think that's where AI, there's a balance, right?
There's
We
about
we have to find that balance. And I think my music is what brings the human element to AI. I think people have heard a lot of AI music and a lot of it is garbage,
yeah,
especially the ones that are just AI automated lyrics because there's no heart to them, right?
right.
I think that's what I do. I bridge that gap of these are my words and people are feeling them and people have been messaging me from all over just telling me their stories and how the song has affected them. And it's the most heartwarming thing. And I'm so grateful. I do have to put some boundaries up soon though, because I'm getting some weird messages in my boxes. So I have to do that.
You had to set some boundaries.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
is one thing that many people are afraid of with fame or with, receiving a lot of money, for example, in a
Hmm.
windfall thing. It's like, how is this going to change my life? Are people
Yeah.
going to come out and want things from me all of a sudden? How am I
Hmm.
going to maintain my boundaries? How am I going to maintain my privacy? Those are big questions. And you're having to deal with all of this all of a sudden.
Hmm.
Your
Yeah.
following went just sky high in a very short amount of time.
Very, very short.
Part of this study or this discussion on transformation has to be about how do you keep up with changes in your life,
Oh man, this has been a kind of whirlwind. So, one of the highest forms of vibration is gratitude.
Yeah.
And I think what I struggled with those first 2 weeks of this was I wanted to respond to everybody. And I'm still trying to respond to everybody, but I'm not pushing myself as hard. I mean, there was days where I had an hour, 2 hours sleep because I'd wake up and I'm like, oh, I should answer this. And had so much anxiety about getting back to them because every time I would go into my inbox, it was like 99 plus, 99 plus. I'd finish responding 99 plus, finish responding 99 plus. And I'm like, oh, so I was, a couple of my friends were like, look, you stop pushing yourself so hard to do that. They're like, people can tell you're grateful at this point. So just do enough where you have time to respond to people, but then take some time to yourself and focus on your artwork and do that. And that's what you came up with in my Reiki session that we had just on that day was that I was blocked up and came in. I had back pain, I had bloating, and I felt like just backed up that entire morning. And then I didn't even think I was going to make it. And then you sensed it right away. You were like, your sacral's backed up. And then I went home. I did a human design chart because my friends like, check your human design chart and see what you are. And of course, I was like in sacral alignment.
Right.
So that's my power. And that was what was blocked.
Well, exactly. But then you got to get that flow going again. And I'm glad that you did. Now, you had quite a bit of success. Just like you got some really big news. What was your big news?
Yeah, I was with the album.
Yeah. Album.
Yeah. And
single.
So yeah, I didn't know it was going to happen. It was like I posted on TikTok. The reason why I even put out the album was because I had put out like in October, I released a single and I didn't think it was going to do anything. I just thought I had 100 followers on TikTok. I thought a couple of my friends will see this and that'll be it. And then, I never looked back at it. I just kind of let it sit there because I never really got much feedback on my songs. So a couple of days went by, I checked it and I was like, wow, this has like 4,000 views in like 2 days. And I was like, I didn't do a promotion on it. And people had actually commented it was actually real engagement. It wasn't just like bots. And they were asking what the song's name was and where can they find it. And I was like, oh, okay. I talked to my husband and I was like, look, it's kind of getting some attention. I was like, do you think I should release it? And he was like, yeah. He's like, why not? You've been doing this for a while now. What's it going to hurt? Just put it out. And so I put it out, and that video went to 70,000 views, which was huge for somebody that didn't really get much attention prior to that.
That's huge.
Yeah. And so right on the day before Christmas Eve, it was the 23rd, I think. I never get a lot of attention if I post like in an evening on a weekday. And I literally had saw a post where somebody put, oh, my exit song for 2025 was this. So I was like, well, this is definitely my exit song. This song, Let 'Em, is my exit song for 2025. So I just posted it thinking nothing was going to happen. And I woke up and I had like 8,000 views over the course of 5 hours and I was sleeping.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then before you know it, like if people started waking up that morning and getting on TikTok and seeing it, by the end of the day, it was like, I don't know, 30,000, 40,000, and 50,000. And then by 2 days in, it was already at, I don't know, like 100,000. And then before I know it, now we're at 1.2 million views. People are lip syncing this song. People are reacting to this song with facial expressions that just crack me up. Like they're dancing to it. They're sending me videos. They're sharing it with friends. People are asking who's singing it and who's singing that song or whose song is this in the comments. And people are just like, at Waking Up Christopher, at Waking Up Christopher. And people know. And I never could have imagined after 30 years of writing songs, that song that I had no intention of releasing was going to hit home. And you know what was the most interesting thing about this, Christi? And I was talking about this on my live TikTok last night, was that I carried these songs that I had written over the years. And a lot of them are very emotional and sad and
Personal.
And I sat with those songs because I had never heard them as full productions before.
Yeah.
And so I spent this year of just going over, reliving these heartbreaks that I'd had in my entire life and this journey. And I think it was just so healing because, like, A, I was reliving that experience, but B, I was hearing the songs as they were always imagined to be.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, this is so beautiful. And to see all of this happen and to see my life's work just finally start coming out to the public is just such a huge blessing.
Yeah. It kind of makes me think of I don't know if you've seen Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie.
No, I haven't.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty good. And so it's about Queen, right? And
Yeah.
the Freddie Mercury character, Rami, I don't know. I'm not.
Oh, wait, I saw that. No, I did see that. Was that what it was called? Bohemian Rhapsody?
Bohemian Rhapsody was about
Yeah.
Queen.
Yeah, I think I did see it. I did see it.
So I can't remember the actor's name. I can never remember his name.
Rami Malek or something?
Something like that, where
Yeah.
he's in a hotel room speaking with his mom on the phone and saying, this is crazy. We just played this huge show and the audience was singing our song back to us. The song I wrote and singing my words back to me. And I've always thought of that even before that movie came out. It's like, how crazy is that you're performing for a wide audience and people are just enjoying and loving your work so much.
I just got chills because it's the most powerful thing that happened. I was literally watching, I've been crying out. I was literally watching people's like TikToks and I'm in tears and they're telling their stories and their TikToks. And I was just bawling on the couch. My husband's like, are you okay? I was like, you don't understand. I was like, I didn't think it was going to resonate. This was like a song that I was writing to heal myself through this. Like, my husband and I are currently in a lawsuit against his former partners.
Yeah.
And we're going after them for like defamation and a whole bunch of other things. And it was hard being silent as people are trashing your name and knowing that you can't say anything because it can be held against you.
Exactly.
And it was just really hard, and we didn't want to go and say evil things about them because I want to treat people the way I want to be treated. So I'm going to treat people the way I want to be treated. I'm not going to, just because you treated me poorly doesn't mean I have to do that in return. I don't have to react to you. I don't have to come at you. I was like, because I'm in control of my actions and how I respond to you. And I want my peace of mind. And that was what the song was just about. I'm going to keep my peace of mind about this. I'm going to let you say your words. And it was definitely inspired by this Mel Robbins book, The Let Them Theory. And I had seen her stuff. I haven't read the book, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like based on the book. I had seen a poem that was based on it. And I saw people posting about the Let Them Theory. And it was just kind of like an inspiration for the song. It's such a huge thing that happens to everybody. And I didn't realize that. I just thought it was something I was going through. And I needed to get it out of my system because I wasn't allowed to speak. And I just wanted to get it off my chest that you're not going to steal my joy just because you are feeling a certain way.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the song that resonated the most with people, isn't it?
It's at like almost 60,000 views as of today.
It's crazy. And it was named like
The exit song of 2025. I'm sure there were several that were people, received, but mine was one of them that people were getting, and it just kind of took off. And now it's like the entrance song for 2026.
that's amazing. Right. Exactly. Setting the tone for 2026. Hey,
Yeah.
let them grouse about you. Let them say things. It's not
Mhm.
who you are. It's not a reflection of who you
Yeah.
are. Right.
And I think, yeah, and it's like, it's so perfect too, because it's like we just exited a 9-year snake cycle,
Right.
and we're entering into this new beginnings. And to have everybody singing this song about letting the past go and starting anew at this exact time, it's like so meta and like, what is happening? It's like you're just waking people up.
Right.
And then, I don't know, it couldn't ask for more divine timing, is all I'm saying.
No, that is fantastic. And it's kind of
Yeah.
like, some sort of movie where all of these people all of a sudden open their eyes and they're activated.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So here we
Yep.
come. So what is next for Waking Up Christopher?
Well, I have several albums in the works. I have 2 that are done, and we're actually going to start, but I'm talking about, I have a whole team now, like we're doing promotions and things like that. So I didn't expect it. So my team, we're planning to start releasing songs from the second record actually in the end of February. It might sound early, but I actually contacted a professional in the industry. I contacted a manager for a consult because I don't know what to do with this kind of success. I'd never experienced this. And first of all, she wanted me to break my personality into different brands and take those different kind of, because I have country songs, I had emo songs, I have pop songs. And she wanted me to break those up into different like TikTok accounts and different artist names. And first of all, that's not happening. I was like, I'm not some like 18-year-old pop star that's trying to get a record deal that wants to be famous. I was like, my brand is authenticity. And so that's what people are going to come for. They're going to come to hear my story. And if they want to stick around for it, they're welcome to. And if they don't, then that's fine too.
Not a commodity. What you're producing is not a commodity. It is
No.
helping. It is healing. It is for everybody. It is universal. You can't compartmentalize yourself.
No, and who wants to do that? I don't like labels, so I'm going to put a label on myself that I am just one thing, and I'm just not doing it. And so I told her, thank you for the advice. I'm going to continue to just release records under Waking Up Christopher. And, I hope people come on the journey. I really do, because, my next record, it's called The Divine Feminine. And so interestingly, it's about like, there was this period of time after I broke up with like my ex. It was kind of a narcissistic type. And after I left him, they keep pulling you back in, right? And every time you try to get away, they just pull you back. But even though he was dating somebody else, but whenever I started dating somebody else, well, maybe this thing isn't going to work out. Maybe we can get back together. And I kept falling for it. And I kept hoping, this hope that we were going to get back together. For what? I don't know, because it wasn't great when we were together. We would be going out to the store and he'd be like, are you going to wear that? Like, maybe not. Just the gross stuff, Yeah. And I didn't have confidence. And being a gay kid growing up, the fat gay kid growing up, I had very little self-confidence. There's one girl that used to call me lipstick, and I didn't know what that meant. And finally one day I was like, what do you mean lipstick? Why do you keep calling me lipstick? And she's like, well, it's made out of whale blubber. And I was like, well, that's fucking stupid. Oh, I just cursed. Sorry.
Honey, it's a podcast. It's okay.
Yeah. So I was like, that's fucking stupid. But I never forgot it. And that stuff sticks with you. So, my ex was probably the second person that I ever slept with. I hadn't really been sexually adventurous. Being a gay kid at the end of the 90s was scary because the whole AIDS crisis had just happened, so like I had the fear that I was going to get HIV and die. And so kids in that era that were gay didn't have that chance to sexually explore because they were just so frightened. You would go to the gay club and somebody would say, don't talk to that person, they have HIV.
Whoa.
It was disgusting. It was disgusting. There would be people on profiles that said, no fats, no femmes, no blacks, no Asians. So you just felt discriminated against the minute you went on these dating apps. And so this album, this Divine Feminine album, is about that. It's kind of like we had to hide back then when you were gay. You had to like try to be more hyper masculine. And I had a very feminine voice growing up. My voice didn't deepen until I was a lot older. People would call the house, they'd be like, hi, Pat. And that's my mom's name. And it was effeminate. And so if you look at pictures of myself from when I was a kid, I'm like, yeah, that's the gay kid in the family. And so I spent years just masking as this masculine, trying to be masculine man, so I wouldn't be perceived in the outside world as weak, effeminate person. And this record is like, fuck you. Like, I'm going to be the sassy diva that I deserve to be. And it's me exploring just like sexuality and taboos. And it's me finally getting my confidence back and saying, you know what? You're a dirtbag. I don't want you in my life. You're garbage. And then also going through that stage where you're just like, you know what? I'm happier by myself. I don't need you.
Right.
You know, I am fine just on my own. I have my peace of mind. I love myself now. I don't need you. And if you're an incomplete person, if you haven't done your inner work and to get over your demons, then I don't want to be with you. I want to be with somebody that loves me for who I am on my good days and my bad days, not somebody who just is around because they think I'm attractive or they think that I can support them or they think they can take advantage of me.
Yeah. We were saying earlier about being misfits. And I think, yes, you were a gay man who grew up in the 90s and, you had your own target on you. But for me, I was the weird kid growing up, believing in UFOs and ghosts and, all this kind of witchy metaphysical stuff in the 70s in
Yeah,
urban Kansas City. We all have something.
everybody does.
We all
Everybody's,
do. So we
even,
all,
even the pretty girls.
oh,
The pretty girl.
absolutely.
There's one song on the record about this group. I used to hang out with these dancers that lived underneath me, and they were the prettiest girls. And just because of their career, they got so much hate.
Mm.
So much hate for what they did. The one would take her son to school and people would just stare at her and give her dirty looks. And she was so self-conscious about it. But at the same time, she just always had that, I don't care what you think about me. But, in the inside, it kind of hurts,
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
one of those songs is about those group of girls that I thought they were like the strongest souls. When you're in high school or whatever, you think that the pretty people don't get picked on, but they get picked on a lot actually, because everybody that's not pretty hates them.
Right. They're a target in their own way.
Yeah.
So we are all a target in our own way.
hmm
So that's why I think your music is so universal and is so helpful for many, many, many people. Where can we find your music?
It's on all streaming platforms. The big ones, obviously, that people know: Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Amazon Music. That's where I don't think it's on SoundCloud. People have asked me. I have to check with my distributor for that. But yeah, it's most streaming platforms. I even think it's on Roblox and things like that, So
I would have no idea.
I don't know. My nieces play it. I have no idea what Roblox even is. I know it's a game.
It's a game, and that's about all I know.
That's all I know about it.
But you are under Waking Up Christopher on all of those platforms.
Yes. Well, Waking Up Christopher is for all the music platforms. And for my TikTok and my Instagram, it's Waking Up Chris 222.
222 has a special significance for you as well.
Yeah, it does. It was a number that just came up with my husband. There's a wedding venue here in Kansas City, northern Kansas City, up in Gower, called Backwoods Venue 222. And the woman that runs it, Amy, she's this beautiful woman, and she's a ray of light, and I love her so much. And I was having a hard time finding wedding vendors out here because we were gay. And so we had this one radio DJ. This DJ for the wedding, and he was really cool with me until he found out that my partner was a man. And then all the blessings to you evaporated and then suddenly he had nothing available. So I asked him, well, what do you have for the next 2 years? And he's like, well, I don't know that far in advance. And I'm like, you're telling me you're booked up for 2 years? You just had something for me a year from now. You don't have anything 2 years out? And so I gave him a bad review on Google. And then eventually he had to delete that Google account and get another one.
Oh my.
Because my review was like, I didn't say that you were discriminating against me, but I made it pretty clear that that's what happened. And so I was very scared to go and find a wedding venue. It was like, well, even the DJ doesn't want to, the one that's playing all the fun music isn't cool with me. Is the wedding venue person that let me get married there? So when I met her, she just alleviated that fear. Because, coming from New Jersey, that's not a thing. Like, people wouldn't even care. But out here, it can be a little bit of an issue sometimes. And so when she just made me feel at ease and calm, and she told me the story of how she came to this business and how 222 kept popping up in her life, and how it was just a sign that she'd been wanting to start her own business, and then 222 popped up. And so she named the venue after this, the birthday of the person that left the building to her, whose birthday was on 222. And so we love the story because this guy was a banker in New York City, and he would send all of his antique furniture back to this place, which used to be an antiques museum. And so I was like, that's so cool, babe. I was like, it's the New York and where I'm kind of from, and Kansas City, it's kind of it's a connection for us. And the 222 was just fun. And then literally 2 weeks later, our caterer contacts us and he's like, just so you know, he's like, we're going to have your tasting at Cellar 222.
So yeah, Waking
So
up Chris 222.
yeah, so just follow the synchronicities, just following the numbers.
So, and you're working on a website right now, correct?
Yeah, there's so much going on right now. It's working on a website. I'm trying, I'm a designer and I'm an artist, so I'm trying to work on merchandise for the brand and the podcast. And I still have to finish illustrating the book because after I had the book, it went to my editor and we went to my editor a couple times and went back and forth. We finally got down to a whole new book, and now the images just don't really resonate with the new words. It's more of a verse book. It's not so much an ABC book to learn the ABCs. It's more like a book to have a conversation. So that's where it's all kind of like gone to.
Yes. All right. So let's pick up with so you're working on a website. If you get the website out for this releases, we can add it to the show notes. But otherwise,
Sure.
I would encourage everybody to find you with Waking Up Christopher or
Yes.
Waking Up Chris 222.
Uh-huh.
They're on all of the streaming platforms. Thank you so much for joining me today, my dear
Yes.
friend.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you. I love you so much. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be where I am today. I've told you this. It's like doing the spirit circle, which I wish we had talked more about because that was such a fun thing. If you guys are watching this, please go to Christi's Spirit Circle. It was such an important part of my journey in doing the meditations with you and just learning how to connect and kind of just ground yourselves.
Thank you so much. And I'll be looking for the next album as it drops.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Christi. I appreciate you.
Don't know what to watch next? Decisions. Well, we've got some suggestions. You can click this little video here and watch that. It's something that we think you're going to like. If you like the last one, you're going to like that one too. You can also click on the subscribe button. And if you do that, then you'll get notifications whenever we have a new video up. Win-win, right?